everyone, and welcome to today's Thankful Thursday. So a couple of things to mention here. This is going to be a gentle as well as a restorative. So kind of two portions to the class today. Class for kind of some joint ache. So if you're having severe pain, please back off. Don't do anything that's contraindicated. Don't do anything that causes yourself pain. One of the principles of yoga is ahimsa, which is non-harming. So, this is a video platform, and I'm trusting you all to take good care of yourself. Some other things to mention is the restorative part, which will be the second half, is going to be pretty prop heavy for today. So I realize that not everybody has yoga props. I'm going to use a little bit of what I have at home and a little bit of yoga props so you can kind of see. So most of you probably won't have a bolster. If you do, you can use one or two bolsters. Most people will have a little throw pillow. So you might get a couple pillows from your bed, or those nice firm couch kind of cushions. You can get one or two of those. So I have yoga blankets here, but I trust most folks will have kind of a throw blanket. If not, I'm sure you have some kind of blanket. 2 to 4 blankets, a nice big towel. If you don't have a yoga strap, you can use kind of like the strap to a robe kind of thing, a bathrobe that is, or a long towel will work as well. I have here some kind of hand weights. They would go around your wrist or ankle if you were kind of working out. So a couple of the poses that are restorative. Some people like to have the weights kind of in their hands just to drop down in, or some people will place them in different places on the body. So that's an option. You can also always have, an eye pillow kind of, or just a towel to cover your eyes if you want to drop deeply within. Also mention that, the restorative portion of this class, you can stay in those poses for 5 to 10 minutes. We won't be doing that here today. This is meant to be little mini classes. But, you could always take the recording and pause it, or, do it on your own, time it. I'll just be, instead of 5 or 10 minutes, I'll be demonstrating about 5 to 10 breaths, just so you get the gist. The videos, I realize not everybody's on Facebook, and it's kind of a pain sometimes to search back through Facebook Live. So the videos are uploaded to the YouTube channel, which is completely free within 24 hours, usually faster. And I always post the link for all the social media that we have here, as well as the link to the last YouTube class, and it's under my name, Ashley Lynn Caputo. So that'll be at the top of this post. Sometimes it comes up a couple minutes after the live, because I have to finish it and upload it. But that's all available to you. So always popular there. So as far as oils for this, so Deep Blue is almost always my favorite, and I like the rub. There's also an oil, but this is the one I would rub into my joints. Lemongrass can get into the fascia. Thank you, Wilda, for that tip. And you can pair it with Deep Blue. That being said, for today's class, I'm also putting on some Intune. It's the Focus blend. So that's for the beginning part of class, where I'm kind of doing a little bit more movement. It's still gentle though. And then I also like Adaptive for this kind of class, maybe closer to the end, because it's that kind of general stress relief. So those are great products. That being said, you can always reach out if you have any questions about that. So, another thing that you might want to have is a chair. I'm going to use this table because if I had a chair in front of me, you wouldn't necessarily be able to see what I was doing. So that's why the table is here. And you could always use the chair for holding onto the back of for a little bit of the standing portion too. I have a stool over here just because it's going to help me to set my notes down, but that might be too high for other people. And then I'm going to use really too small of a space on the wall, but the camera angle. But if you have a wall space, that's nice to have too. Alrighty. So to get started, we'll find that comfortable seated position, and you can be doing this in a chair as well. All right. But finding yourself in a comfortable seated position for you. We're going to take both of our hands today, and we're going to have our thumbs up, pointing straight up, and then we're going to rest our hands down on our thighs or our knees, and we're going to lengthen up through the spine. You can soften the gaze or even close the eyes, whatever feels right to you. I'm just beginning to pay attention to the breath. Noticing where it's moving through the body. Do you feel it more in the abdomen, the belly, or more in the chest? Just noticing where the natural breath is to begin. And then beginning to move into more of our yogic three-part breath, or diaphragmatic if you're not a yogi, where you're going to purposefully let the belly inflate on the inhale. The ribs are going to flare out, and the breath comes all the way up, same inhale, into the chest. And then on each and every exhale, reverse the direction. The navel muscles will draw slightly up and in. That's going to compress the vagus nerve. And just repeating this. Lengthening up through the spine. Now beginning to lengthen the exhale. So if you needed to think of it as a count, adjusting it to your own, of course, but perhaps inhaling for a count of 4, and then exhaling for a count of 6. That slightly longer exhale also calms the nervous system. In addition, if you like to add the ocean or ujjayi sound, you can think of it as if though you are fogging up a mirror, that kind of, only your mouth will be closed. It's a constriction in the back of the throat near the epiglottis. And that also has a very calming but also heating effect, which can be nice for the joints. And as you continue to breathe, know that this hand position in yoga is known as Marudanda Mudra, or hand position, which is the gesture of the spine. This is going to help us to cultivate determination and willpower. It's going to support that optimal alignment of the spine, which is in addition going to create optimal space for the functioning of all our organs and our systems, while creating an ideal balance of vitality and groundedness. This helps to bring our awareness to the entire chakra system, or all of the glands, all of our places of connectivity, energy centers, and it brings a special level of focus to the third chakra, Manipura, which is located in the solar plexus, and this is our personal power center. Holding this hand position is also known to instill optimism and confidence, as it is our power center, personal power, and it helps to align us with what they call the earth-sky axis, creating natural integrity and authenticity into our true being. It's also helping to open the spine up to the breath throughout, allowing for feelings of harmony and alignment with your higher self or with source energy. So if you like, you can repeat the following mantra silently to yourself. Aligned with my core values from head to toe, I am capable of manifesting anything I desire. Aligned with my core values from head to toe, I am capable of manifesting anything I desire. Isn't it interesting? I wonder if you already know that what you say to yourself really does matter. Our subconscious mind is always listening to our inner dialogue, and it can take on limiting beliefs if we don't feed it enough love and positivity. You know, we all have our setbacks, and many of us have made it through some harrowing or even grim circumstances. Most of us, at the very least, have encountered less than ideal surroundings from time to time, whether they be financial, physical, emotional, or not so healthy relationships, either with loved ones or even at work. Yet there are many who survive and thrive. You know, one's outlook on life can be a significant advantage in living a fulfilled life. And the wonderful news is that this skill can be learned, can it not? Many have come from nothing or lost everything only to rise to the top using their backgrounds as a learning and growth experience to transform and perhaps help others, becoming happy and successful, some of them leaders today. And so I'd like to invite you to pause and focus on what it is you really do want. Whether it's a feeling or a thing, anything at all, just focusing on maybe your highest values for a moment. as you do so, you can take some of those full and easy breaths and just letting whatever comes to mind be there. Not forcing anything, just letting it appear. That's right. Now take a moment and see if there might be some role models that you look up to who really seem to encompass all or much of these same values. Maybe they have achieved some of the things that you desire. And it doesn't really matter who they are. Maybe you have one in mind, maybe you're searching now at the moment. It can be someone close to you or someone famous. It can be someone in this lifetime. It can be someone from long ago or a historical person. It can even be more than one person. Just letting whatever come up for the moment. All that really matters is that you look up to them, you admire them. So taking a moment to imagine now the inner workings of their mind, how they might start their day, even how they get out of bed in the morning, how they might go about making changes if they're coming from where you're at now to where you want to be. What would the first thing they would do be? And what do they tell themselves in their minds when they're down or they're struggling? Just letting it all come to you however it does. That's right. So the amazing thing is that if you can imagine this, you can create it. You know, this is a sort of an NLP, almost hypnotic meditation process, and it's called, in the NLP world anyway, modeling. And it can be fun and very effective. It's a nice little daydream anyway, if nothing else, right? And then just taking another nice big full breath in, maybe letting it out with a sigh. And then coming back to the room now. Good, good, good. All right. So we're going to be coming all the way up to our feet. So just coming there however you will. Maybe shaking it out a little bit, loosening up. So the next part that we're going to do is called the 8 churnings, or dasha chanalas. So we're going to get some movement or churning into all of our major joints here. So we start out with the ankles. So if you have, if you don't have the greatest balance, I don't want to move that stool, but if I'm holding onto a chair, you can be doing this. I'm going to start with the ankles and rotate 8 times in each direction. So that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then reverse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we'll switch to the opposite foot. 1, creak, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, reverse. Nice. Now we're going to get into the knees. So your feet are going to be close together. You're going to bend your knees. Put your hands here kind of on your thighs, and we're going to circle the knees. 1, 2, 3. Nice and gentle. 4. And then reverse that direction. Coming up, you can part the feet, keep the legs mostly straight, hands to the hips, and the hip circles now. And then reverse that direction, 8 opposite. I'm going to do a gentle little twist. I like to kind of add a little Tai Chi kind of tap. So one fist will come kind of to the shoulder, the inner shoulder here. It's a lymph node, and the other to a kidney, so it's a nice little gentle though detox. side again. I like to do both sides at the same time, but you could do one at a time. So I'm doing basically 16 taps. Or close to it if I lost count. Let you get the drift there. And now we'll do a spinal wave. This one is a little bit awkward when you're a little bit stiff, but so you're going to soften your knees just a little tiny bit. Let your arms relax. I kind of like to keep mine here just for the first one. So you're going to get kind of the whole spine from the tailbone through the neck. So it doesn't have to look pretty. You're just getting the spine to flow 8 times. And then I like to do the shoulder rolls, so 8 going back. And then reverse that. We'll do 8 wrist circles. I also like to have my hands out and open and close my fist a few times. That's not part of the Chanala, but we're here, so. And then the last of the turnings is the neck. So just using nice gentle movements, not getting all crazy with it, just 8 little. Almost think of like a laser beam coming out of the crown of my head and just making little tiny circles on the ceiling directly above. After the 8th one, reversing that direction. So the really nice part about this Chanala or 8 turnings is that you can even modify this and do it in a chair. So it's very accessible. All right. And so throughout the practice, we're going to keep deepening the exhales, lengthening the exhales, I should say. You want to just let that breath be nice and long and natural. So we're going to come over towards our wall now. And this, I don't really have enough wall space. I think you guys can see me. So you're going to have your feet out. You're going to kind of lean back into, turning legs on and off, into a chair pose. So just getting as far down as you can, and so my head kind of thrusts forward. So if possible, you want to get your head comfortably to rest all the way against the wall. That's going to be that nice erect spine, everything in place. About 3 to 5 breaths. You can always have your hands. So if you needed more, you can also stretch your hands up. Strengthen the quads a lot. So strengthening other muscles around the joints is going to help us with moving. So I'm going to move a little bit away from the wall as I come up, but the nice part about the wall is if you didn't have light switches behind you, you could slide up and down. So maybe take a moment and just release that. Sometimes I'll just tap a little bit. So if that felt okay for you, you can also do it again, coming onto the balls of both feet. So maybe not wearing socks for this, but it's chilly here. So same thing, arms are optional. Trying to get that head all the way back against the wall if that feels good. And then gently release, same thing. Maybe a rub or a tap, just pausing, noticing if you want to shake it out, whatever works for you. Then we're going to come into a nice runner's lunge. So you can use a chair or the wall. So if the left foot is in front, you're going to step the right foot back. You can start with a smaller step and then advance it if you need. So this is, kind of like a warrior 1 here. And our warrior 1, 2, and 3 are great for the joints if you're up to that level, of course. So we're taking it very gentle today. Just getting that stretch. So you're rounding down into the outer side of the back foot. Stretching out the Achilles, the calf. Squaring out the hips. And then we'll switch to the opposite leg. And make sure your shoulders are kind of rolling back and down if you're using a chair. The wall is, a little bit easier. Nice deep breaths. Maybe even walking it out. You can also kind of go into a little chair or wall dog here just to stretch so your feet will be hip distance. Lowering one heel at a time. And then soften the knees. Maybe the feet walk out a little bit. We're just going to kind of ragdoll here. And so you can just hold still. Your knees are as soft as they need to be, or you can shift a little bit. Letting gravity do the work. We're going to be coming down to the ground here. Right. So as you come down to the ground, we're going to take our strap and have that nearby. You can gently begin to roll or help yourself down. And then bringing the knees in towards the chest is going to release that lower back. And gently make some little circles with the knees here. And then reverse that direction. So we're going to place the feet on the ground, hip distance apart, and take the strap, towel if you have it, around the ball of the right foot. Just begin to stretch that right leg. So it doesn't even have to go, I'll check my pant leg in here. It doesn't even have to go all the way straight if that's not feeling good for you, but if it does, you'll hold there. So this left foot, knee is bent, okay? So now if it's comfortable and you can keep your back flat, not having that arch, but flat, you can begin to straighten, and again, it doesn't have to straighten all the way, the left leg out. We're just gonna take nice deep breaths here, lengthening those exhales. So getting that hamstring stretch here. I'm going to bend my left leg if I did straighten it. And I'm going to bend my right knee if I did straighten it. And I like to just very gently make a one-legged circle. Getting into the hip, of course using caution if you have anything going on. And I'm going to release and switch to the opposite side. Sorry for pants leggings. So again, moving towards straight with that left leg. Remembering to lengthen the exhale, keeping the body calm with the mind being calm. It's comfortable to straighten it, go ahead. Same thing with the right. The lower back would stay flat if you are moving towards straight. And just taking those breaths here. And then bending any straight right knees, any straight left knees, and circling gently. And reverse that. And keep the lower back flat as you gently release that. And so using your own judgment here, we'll start by arching the back on an inhale, and then exhale, flatten, so a somatic stretch. Inhale. Exhale, we'll do 3 more. And now bridges are very good because you're engaging the glutes, quads, you're working a lot of the muscles, but you're using the strength in some of your shoulders, so it can bear a lot of weight as well. So if bridge is okay for you with your back, you can just do some gentle bridging here. Of course, if it's not, you can continue to do those somatic stretches. The somatics can also be done in the chair, so can the strap stretch. Lowering down gently. We'll do a somatic arch. Exhale, flatten 3 times. And then inhale, back up, engage glutes, quads. Make sure there's nothing under your neck if you are bridging. You want that chin tucked. And then lowering down for 3 somatic. Inhale, arch, exhale. And 1 more, Satya Bandhasana bridge. If you want to go a little higher this time, feel free. Make sure both feet are parallel. Hip distance apart, all 4 corners of the feet on the ground. You're not opening or tilting. Gently lower and go through that inhale, arch. Exhale, press 3 times. Nice. And then gentle windshield wiping, just to your level of comfort. Nice. So a very nice, this of course has to be done on the ground, a very nice all over kind of body movement that I read on some site and I really liked because it kind of involves a little bit of playfulness too. So it would work with pants or socks, but it's kind of nice to have a blanket of similar heights under each one. And you could also do it with the arms. I'm not really going to be able to do it full, but it's like a snow angel. So you're just getting that full abduction, adduction with arms and legs. The ad going towards the midline of the body and the ab going away. It's very light and easy with the blankets under anyway. And I'm lifting my arms, you would be sliding them on blankets or towels, or not scratch the latch and bang the table. So that's a very nice all over kind of relaxing, kind of also stimulating. And then I like to hug my knees in again and rock that lower spine out a little bit to counterpose any bridges. So anytime we want to come out of a posture where we're lying on our back, we want to roll to one side. We want to press that same side elbow, opposite side hand down. Pull your abs into your lower back. So you're using your core and your upper body strength to come up if you're on the ground. So not doing something that jars the whole back kind of deal. And now we're going to move into the restorative part of the class. So when we're doing these restorative poses, we want it to be just a letting go or a surrender, not an actual stretch. So we did the stretch part, and now this is just the letting go. Again, each one of these poses, pretty much okay, as long as it's okay in your body for 5-10 minutes. And I'll show you a couple different options. Here we're going to keep it 5-10 breaths for time, and because I'm not watching you and we're not going to sit here in silence. But so I'm using the bolster for the first one because this is not really, and you can you can make it your own, if you have a block or a book, a towel. So you can prop yourself up that way. And it's not a stretch for me because I'm pretty flexible here, but that would certainly be a pretty big stretch for most people. So you can also, maybe this is like a metal chair, but that wouldn't have looked as good. You can also do that here. And you could do it by sitting in a chair facing the wall and putting a towel on your forehead. So just getting a very gentle forward fold going. Oh, tea is ready. Tea and restorative yoga go so well. And so we'll hold for that 3 to 5 minutes here, but 3 to 5 breaths, just for us. So even in restorative yoga, I'm kind of moving towards getting those 6 cardinal movements of the spine going. So it's the forward kind of fold and the back bend, a lateral bend, a twist, you know, to each side. So. And you know, your legs can also be a lot wider than this. And if you have really tight hamstrings, it can be a nice practice to take a blanket. The thing is, you want it to be nice and even. So that's why the yoga blankets are and make it a nice roll. You can also use a towel and put it kind of under the knees. So that kind of just helps you to relax. So you want it to be a very relaxing place where you can just exist. And you'll feel that effortless sort of groundedness. I'm going to push this back just a little bit. And take my blanket out. And I'm going to be turning sideways just so the camera angle looks good for the camera, for you guys. So some of these are going to be the restorative ones. It might be more comfortable for some folks to do even in their bed, which is lovely as well. Because yoga is really, yoga means, you know, a union or a yoking, so it is available to just about everyone in one way, shape, or form. We always think of it as, you know, the physical asana, but it's really a lot more. So we want to get into the lateral kind of bending now, and it's nice to have, you know, any kind of blanket or pillow between the knees, particularly if you're having kind of some joint issues. And so this, the bolster or the couch pillows work nice for this too, but if you're in bed, you'll just use whatever you want. You do want to get a kind of firm kind of pillow though, maybe, up to your hip, and then kind of fold over. So you're kind of getting the ribs stretched, but it's not, I wouldn't say, they're getting a stretch, but it's not like a big stretch because you're going to kind of just melt onto it. So my neck is generally a little bit more difficult to please, so I like to put something under my neck. You want your spine to be pretty much straight all the way, so you might, where did my pillow go? You might have a couple pillows here. If the arm isn't comfortable here, you could kind of find a way. That's probably, with my neck though, that's going to be the most comfortable for me. So you're going to settle in, make sure you're really comfortable. Again, some folks will like to have kind of a little weight somewhere there. And you can also have some more props. You can use as many props. Restorative yoga is very prop heavy. But really settling in. Just taking those nice deep breaths here, lengthening exhales. And so you can really, really focus on the breath expanding your rib cage. The ribs expand when we do that 3-part breath. Almost like the gills of a fish, just opening, or an accordion. Again, this pose can be held for that 3 to 5 minutes, even longer. I say 3 to 5 because it's both sides, but you can do 10 minutes if you like. I would start with the 3 to 5 if you're not used to stretching out the ribs. And then you'll want to get pretty much the same props to start to go to the opposite side, knowing that a lot of the times, even if our spine doesn't have like a very big bend or scoliosis or anything in it, we do have irregularities, and it can be the spine, or it can be muscular or joint, or which is also the spine, I realize, but you get my drift. It can be a lot of different parts that just don't feel the same. And again, if you like the weight, nothing too much, you know, you can cover with blankets. Just propping yourself up and settling in, making sure that that pillow is all the way up to your hip there. You don't want a big gap. And then taking those nice relaxing breaths. Letting the ribs really expand. And again, using that, drawing the belly in and upper body strength to come out of the posture. So we did a forward fold, which is kind of the hip flexion. Then we did our lateral bends. So now we'll move into a restorative version. Look at my cheat sheet to make sure I got all my points in here. Yeah, we'll do a restorative back bend now. So we want to make sure that you have enough props for every part of your body that you need. So another big pillow would be ideal here, and that would go underneath the knees if you're doing a straight kind of legged one. So this big pillow comes all the way up to the bum, so you don't want that gap that's going to cause compression of the spine. And again, I like something under my neck because of issues that I personally have here. So I'm gonna, this is the, if you don't need something under your neck, and then I kind of like a little lift here. And so some folks find it comforting to have, and you know, in a restorative class that I host, I would have sandbags. Some people will put them kind of on their abdomen. Some folks like to kind of feel it on their shoulders. Some folks will hold them as hand weights. You can have, and these sometimes I use eye pillows. You can have all of those. It's kind of nice to have a blanket. Most of the time it lets people feel safe. So another way to get that back bend and heart opener is to bring the soles of the feet together here, which is the Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclined bound angle. It also will open up the hips. And if I took a long blanket here and made a little spaghetti noodle, nice and neat. If you're using props, you do want the blankets to be folded pretty neatly and evenly. You don't want wrinkles under you, or you're not really doing yourself a favor, but you can kind of make that little U. You can also put pillows under the knees, blocks, and just settle into that. And again, blankets, anything you like, eye pillows. You might add that adaptive oil to the wrist or diffuser. Lavender is good as well. And this pose can really be held by most folks. Tend to enjoy it a pretty long time, 8-10 minutes. And here we're just doing 5 to 10 breaths. And so it's nice to do that same, pull the belly in so you have that lower back protection, use the upper body strength. A lot of times teachers, we get lazy and we just kind of yank ourselves out of that posture to get to the next pose to teach you, but it is good to have that nice back held at all times. So now we did our forward fold, we did our back bend, we did our lateral bend, so we want to do a gentle twist. And twists are great to do first thing in the morning or when going to bed at night. So if I'm doing it here on the floor, I might again, so it wouldn't be the spaghetti roll one, I might have a pillow or a nicely folded blanket in between my knees. Something between the knees kind of keeps that natural hip distance of the legs between the knees. So I'm going to come onto one side here to demonstrate this. So if you are pretty flexible, make sure there's nothing behind me, then you might notice, and it is a nice practice to try and keep the knees pretty much stacked And then get that right shoulder as close to the ground as possible. So that's not always available to most folks. And particularly if you're in bed, you can kind of put a pillow under yourself so you're not straining here. And take those nice deep breaths here. Again, you can have the weights too. You can also have another, so if that's still too much motion for the body, you can have a pillow. It's going to be pretty high for me, but you can have a pillow so that the knees rest on that. So you want to make sure that you're not having the knees high up in the air. So if I didn't have that range of motion and they were here, then I'd have the pillow. And so that's the same thing with the throw pillow behind the shoulder if it's not flat. And again, maybe 3 minutes to start here. So this gets my attention more to my chest breathing, but I'm also really able to feel the expansion in the right rib cage. So that middle right lung lobe here. So after I've done my time on one side, I'll switch and I'll repeat the same amount of time, although I might adjust the props for comfort slightly differently. I'll start with around the same props. So again, if my knees go all the way to the floor and stack fairly evenly, then I might not, and my shoulder, I might not need pillows, but we don't want it to be necessarily a stretch in restorative. We want to just be able to let go too. So just because they can make it doesn't always mean they should. Because it's restorative, you don't have to have the head turned the opposite way. I'm kind of doing that naturally because I'm speaking to you, but you want your head to just be. So I'm going to roll to one side to come out. You don't need to come up though. I'm going to come up just for teaching. You can stay down. So come out of your twist, and now we'll move into supported Shavasana, or final resting pose. So that one is generally nice to have a pillow underneath the knees. It's going to help the lower back get in. Just like when we hug our knees in, that's a kind of a stretch, but it flattens out the lower back. So just having the pillow there is going to naturally help the back to flatten down. This one's very nice to have the hand weight. Some people, again, like just a sandbag on their abdomen. They'll do it themselves for the most part, or on the shoulders. Some folks are going to like a pillow under the neck or a rolled towel under the neck. Keep as much of that, natural supported spine going as possible. So making any adjustments to find, and I did my quick roll up there instead of using the proper technique, but you'll find your comfortable Shavasana pose, settling in now. Let go of any conscious breathing efforts here. Just allowing the breath to do what it naturally wants to do. Feeling all the places of contact that your body makes with the ground or the bed, the surface. Feeling yourself supported in every way. And in your meditation today, may your body be still and comfortable. May your head, neck, and trunk be aligned. May your breath be smooth, slow, serene. and without pause. May any flow of thoughts in your mind not disturb you. May your meditation today bring you peace, happiness, and ananda, bliss. May you be well, healthy, and strong. May you be happy. May you abide in peace. May you feel safe and secure. And may you feel loved and cared for. Because you are. You are whole and complete exactly as you are, deserving of love just by your very birthright. Slowly and gently, letting your awareness to come back to the body if it drifted back to the room. Perhaps inviting a little movement into fingers and toes, maybe a little wiggles. If it's right for you, you might lick the lips, or move the face around a little bit. Maybe you rock the head very gently, side to side. You can invite those churnings back to the wrists and ankles very lightly here. And of course, if you're doing this practice at home and you'd like to stay relaxed, feel free. You'll be coming out with us. Then a big inhale, maybe lengthening through the spine. Arms and legs will go out in opposition. On an exhale, lying on your back, hugging the knees into the chest, and doing that rock back and forth, massaging the lower spine. Making your way to whichever fetal side position, so rolling to one side, fetal position that you prefer. Maybe your arms rest, your head is resting on your arm there. Just taking a few breaths here, no rush. Noticing what you notice and how this self-care resonates in your body, in your mind, in your heart. Again, if you're coming all the way out, draw the navel muscles in to use core. Elbow closest to the ground, opposite hand. Press into the ground for that upper body. Hands can circle if you're on the ground to come to a regular yogic seat. And if you're in bed, you're still doing that core pull in. You might not be using the arms to circle or folding the legs in, but you'll use that core engagement. Taking your time to come up. If you like, you can bring the hands to the heart center in prayer or Anjali Mudra. Maybe you bring the thumbs to the forehead for honest thought, to the lips for honest speech, and then back to the heart for honest intention. I'm going to say namaste. The light in my heart shines in the light in yours. So thank you all for coming. I hope you enjoyed today's Thankful Thursday. The meditations from the beginning of class, save of course for the famous code, are hypnotic meditations that I write. They'll be in some of them, most of them, many of them. Will be, I'm writing a second one now. Will be in a meditation book that's currently at the editor's. And I am available for private yoga, yoga therapy, meditation, sound bowls, aromatherapy, NLP, hypnosis, etc. both online and in person. I have a meetup group here in the Tampa area. Sometimes we do some online things. Most of the time it's small groups that meet safely in person here. And we have a Wednesday morning yoga class every week. We also have a once a month, and I believe it's always the last Monday of the month, and I believe it's again December 28th, our group hypnosis, and it's going to be a vision for you. So we're going to be doing some hypnosis with vision boarding. So we have some beautiful poster board and a bunch of glue and scissors that can be socially distanced, and tons of magazines. So that's a very fun one. I had wanted to do this year a group breath work, but it's just not the year for that. And then on December, I think it's the 19th, the Saturday, we'll be doing, instead of the breath work, we'll be doing a yoga nidra with intention setting for the new year. So that's a lovely, if you're not familiar with yoga nidra, it's a very easy, relaxed, meditative state. It's known as yogic sleep, and it gets you down into those delta waves. You can affect change that way, or it's great to just get some relaxation rest. It's great for a lot of different conditions in a yoga therapeutic setting. The actual meditation part will be about an hour. It's set up with all the props, so it's very restorative. So it's not like a yoga class. You don't have to be flexible to do it. And yeah, so that's going to be a lot of fun. It includes some worksheets and stuff too. So that's online, or it's listed online. It's not an online class yet. I'm not sure. I might add that aspect though to reach some folks that are interested outside of here. Alrighty. And if you have any topics that you're interested in hearing about for Thankful Thursday, please shoot me an email or DM me. I'm always interested in, trying to see what folks are looking for. Otherwise, you're stuck with my creative mind. Okay. There was one other thing I wanted to mention too. This is a great little practice. In one of my teacher trainings, they taught us to do this. So it's a little tricky to do because I have the thermostat and the ADT here and all this stuff. But every time you kind of pass through a doorway, if you just take a moment and like put yourself all the way flat against the wall, which is a little hard with these boxes here. But that is, I just turned the lights off again. At least it's not the alarm. That's kind of the curve, and it's making my neck arch because of that box. But if the box wasn't there, that's kind of the correct alignment of the spine. So you can just kind of measure where you are. Every time you pass through a doorway, you've got nothing else to do. All right, folks. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope you find something to be thankful for today. And reach out anytime you like. Take care. Namaste.